Where'd it go? There it is. And welcome to another exciting episode of Riding Through the Unknown. I'm your host, Michael. And for those who have been following along with the show, I am back from the conference. So we are back to doing live shows. So thank you for tuning back in. And tonight, I have a very awesome guest who I perfectly timed coming off of the conference. I was so excited she was willing to come on, and this is her first time on a show talking about this, so I just want to put out there for everybody, please remember everything we share on this show is personal experience, so don't, come on and start trashing or trying being disrespectful to our experiences. They are ours. So please keep that in mind and sit back and enjoy the ride, because I am going to turn it over to a guest who, in full transparency, I've had several conversations with leading up to this. So I am so excited for you all to meet her and hear everything that she has to share. So I'm going to turn it over to the one, the only, amazing, super awesome Cindy Estus.
Hi, I'm Cindy Estus, and I'm an experiencer. On October 15th of 2019, I had 3 black triangle anti-gravity UFOs pull up above me and hover above me. And in addition to that, my mother back in the 1960s had a saucer hover over her when she was standing in a field in Texas. So, yeah.
Wow, so it's a family thing for you.
Maybe I was never interested in UFOs. Even when my mother shared that with me when I was a teenager, I just still wasn't interested until I had my experience in 2019. And I was in a Casey's gas station parking lot in Fort Smith, Arkansas, right about the time it was getting dark. And out of nowhere, these 3 giant black triangles pulled up above, one at a time, no sound, completely soundless. They pulled up and they were spaced completely, perfectly apart. And it was just jaw-dropping. It was like they were frozen in the air, and they were so intimidating because they were these giant black triangles, and they defied all of my known laws of physics, because you see things in the air, but they're moving, like planes and helicopters and whatnot. And so, but these things stopped on a dime and just were frozen in the air. And As a matter of fact, it almost made me dizzy looking at them because of the fact that it defied all laws of physics, that they were just in the air, nothing was holding them up, and they were completely still, just there, just completely still. It was the most amazing experience I've ever had in my life. I had no idea that such technology existed. It's coming up on 6 years on the 15th of October. It'll be the 6-year anniversary from when I seen them. And for the first, I'd have to say first 4.5 or so years, I couldn't stop thinking about it. It was in my mind day and night. When I woke up in the morning, when I went to sleep, I had all these questions. I couldn't understand why I was the one that was so privileged enough to be able to see these things. It was truly amazing. It was amazing. And then I started researching after I seen the triangles, and I started learning that there's that this technology has existed, that our government has it through reverse engineering from crash retrievals all the way back to Roswell, and perhaps even further back than that. And it's amazing technology. And I kind of go back and forth with people about the triangles, because they're known. The ones we have are known as the TR3Bs, and a lot of people will tell me, oh, well, they were our government's, the ones that I seen. But that puzzles me, because the government's are top secret. They don't want us to see that stuff. So who they were, I have no idea. I'm not sure, but they were absolutely just amazing technology. Amazing.
Yeah. Well, I think they designed the TR3Bs because they would match what other UFOs descriptions, so they could operate in the open, but people would not believe it was our government doing it. So that's how they're able to operate, and people be like, oh yeah, look, it's an alien, and not go, oh look, it's our government.
Right. Yeah. I've searched it since I've seen the triangles. I've over the last nearly 6 years, I've searched the internet relentlessly for footage. And myself, I'm so I wish I would have gotten footage of the triangles, but when they pulled up and I seen them, I went into a state of shock. First thing was intimidation, because they're so intimidating looking. And then I just went into a complete state of shock. I mean, the last thing I could do is even think to grab my phone to take a picture or something like that. It was like shell shock. And so I've searched for footage, and I've found footage that photographs that people were able to capture, other people, and I also found video footage of a triangle. It's different than the triangles that I seen. The triangles I seen were flat on all 3 corners. They had a red light in each corner, and they didn't have anything in the middle. And I found footage of a triangle, and I knew it was real as soon as I seen it, because I've seen these crafts with my own eyes. I knew the footage was real. But I had a friend of mine who's a computer programmer analyze the footage just to make sure. And he analyzed it, and based on his expertise, he said it's absolutely real footage, and it has not been edited at all, and it is absolutely not AI. It's real. And it's one video, and I do not know who the camera person is. I researched on the video for years and kind of looked through comments in different places on the internet that referred to that particular video. And the only thing I've gathered that it may have been filmed over France. But this video is, it's really special. Now, it doesn't do it justice. It doesn't do it justice at all. But it does show an amazing, precious event. It actually shows the craft disappearing through a wormhole, which is a space-time portal known as Einstein-Rosen bridge. And it looks nothing like in the movies. You don't see a big tunnel open up and something gets sucked into it. It's a flash, and the craft is gone. And with the space-time portal, from what I've understand, from what I've read, it's faster than the speed of light. It's below quantum. It's smaller than quantum. It's at the Planck scale, and at the Planck scale, that's where particles pop in and out of existence. So, anyways, if you'd like to show the video, whenever you're ready, we can put it up.
All right, and I just want to restate, this is not our video. We found this on the internet, so we're not claiming it is ours. We're just showing it. So here we go. Oh, let's see if it'll let me. Why isn't it playing? Okay. Oh, I love technology during live shows. There we go.
Now, I had watched this video over and over again, and then one day it occurred to me what happened in this video. And it's amazing. It's truly amazing. Now, right now, the ship, the craft, is making an electromagnetic field bubble around it. And then it's going to flash, and then it disappears because it went through a space-time portal to another location.
And what was interesting to me was we were talking about it beforehand, and I was making the comment of, you're sitting here having a UFO. Why do you keep dropping the image below the UFO? I would be constantly on that thing. And yeah, that was what was interesting to me, that it was like, why does he drop it below the UFO and then go back up to the UFO? But yeah, it is really cool that how it shows the stages of the teleportation and the shift in dimension to where it activates its drive, so to speak, creates the bubble, and then it just goes.
It's just gone. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. And Albert Einstein and Nathan Rosen, and he needed Nathan Rosen to finish the equation. They completed that equation for a space-time portal, which is called Einstein-Rosen bridge. They completed that. I think it was either in the 30s or the 40s. And it is not a theory. It's not a theory. And also, in the 1994 movie Roswell, the character Martin Sheen, he tells Jesse Marcel that the visitors come from a place much closer and much further than you can possibly imagine. And that's because they went through a space-time portal, Einstein-Rosen bridge. That's how they got here. They didn't travel millions of light years. They wouldn't make it in time. They'd be dead. They came through a portal, which instantly transports to another location. Yeah.
And it makes sense because either, if it was one of ours, like meaning terrestrial to this planet, inner Earth, or on the surface or underwater, it would still need a way to operate in space. And so the drives would be the same. But what was interesting to me, and I don't know if you picked up on this, at one angle where it was looking at the craft, and you could see like two fins sticking up in the back, and then it
Yes.
came longward. I was like, that looks like a stealth bomber. And I was like, I wonder if that's where the stealth bomber came from and was reverse engineered from, was looking at this craft, seeing it at a certain angle and going, we can make that. We can build that. And now we have it.
We have it. Yes. Yes, absolutely. We have it. It's a lot of people cannot wrap their head around it. They don't believe it. And I cannot stand Google AI. It lies. I have found so many lies on Google AI, but that's for another show. But it does continue to say that Einstein-Rosen bridge is a theory, and it's not a theory. And it also says that anti-gravity is a theory, and it's not a theory. Now, from what I understand, they use electromagnetism. It's electromagnetic is how they power the anti-gravity craft, or not power it, is part of the technology. And it's just unbelievable. It's unbelievable how an object, a ship, a craft, can just be in the air, just completely still in the air, and frozen up there. But if you think about it, it's when you take two magnets and you flip them around where they have, I think it's called reverse magnetism or reverse poles or something like that. That magnet on top will hover over the other magnet. And there's nothing obviously there's nothing in between there holding it up, but it's definitely some sort of magnetic technology. And from what I understand, they call it anti-gravity, but it's not exactly that. That's just a term that they coined it with. And but it's unbelievable. And I used to think, why doesn't the government show us that they have this technology? And a way to bring it out to the public without frightening people would be to, like, for instance, bring it to an air show. We have like the Blue Angels, and they do the air shows and all that. Bring it out to an air show, and you can show the public that way. But evidently, they still don't want us to know, and for some reason, they're letting a few of us know, but not all of us.
Right, and I almost wonder if they're using a Tesla engine in it, because the reason I wonder that is Tesla was able to like put a light bulb on a grassy field and light up the field. No plug into anything, and was building towers to generate energy in the air. And so it makes me wonder, like you're saying, the craft is hovering in the air. Is it like recharging the battery, so to speak? Did they use a lot of energy to get here, and they need a certain amount of energy to escape our dimension or our atmosphere? So do they sit there and hover and go, okay, we're at 20%, 40%, 60%. We can start the process now. We're still generating. And then when the field bubble appears, they're like, hey, we're at 100, boom, gone.
Gone. Yeah. It must be nuclear. They must be nuclear powered. I'm thinking, and I've heard people talk about something about Mercury, uh, uh, moving Mercury or rotating Mercury. I don't really know a lot about it. I've just heard a little bit about it, but I'm not sure.
So there's liquid mercury, and where that comes from is the theory is around there was a temple found in China near the terracotta soldiers that were all there. And they found this underground temple, and it has a river of liquid mercury flowing through it. And they're like, and it's obviously been placed there. And they don't know
Wow.
why they would place liquid mercury there, but there's also images they think they're of ancient tech. And so they're like, here's the power source. It's flowing through here. We just don't know how to plug the device into the power source to make it do its thing. And that's where we have lost the knowledge of the ancients, is they knew how to plug it in because they obviously put it there to tell us. And it's, funny because we were talking about before we came on the show about how we think we're so advanced now, and we are way behind the technology of the ancients.
We are. We're actually, I think we're living in a stone age compared to the technology that's being hidden from us. We're living in a stone age right now.
I would agree with that because we're so dependent on technology, and the ancients knew how to merge nature with tech and create another form of energy, where we're stuck plugging devices into a wall that's plugging through a station that's generating from capacitors. And why we haven't gone to the free energy that's all around us doesn't work. And even like, you could say, oh, the solar power. But we found out in research here in Texas, if you get solar panels to charge your home up, they're rated to be in 75, 80-degree weather. Our weather goes over 100, 110. So we're going to burn those panels up real fast, and they can
Wow.
cause a fire. And so it's like, we can't do solar. We don't have the technology of making the panels able to sustain the heat that's outside, but they don't tell you that. And it makes me wonder, who's, running the alternative energy programs that even they are like not really pushing and developing like they should be. It's like they're like, okay, we built it. We don't have to do any more improvements to it. It's like, yeah, you do. You're not there yet.
Yeah, it's they're hiding everything. For some reason, I don't know if it's just for control over the earth, control over the population, but they want everybody plugged in, and they want they don't want any of this free energy technology coming out at all. Well, corporations stand to lose, trillions of dollars. So I'm sure that plays a role. And yeah, yeah,
Oh
that plays
yeah,
a role.
the airline, the cruise ship, the shipping, the boats, and even trains would all be out of work because if you were able to step on a pad and instantly appear somewhere else on the planet, you don't need planes anymore, or trains, or cruise ships. You just appear where you want to be. And Although I do think cruise ships probably would still be around because people like to relax on the ocean and just be present. And so cruise ships could still fulfill that niche, but like planes would know we wouldn't need TSA and all the airline being cramped on a plane. You would just go.
Yeah, it's kind of like that scene in They Live when Roddy Piper and his buddy goes to that party, and all the people there are all dressed up, and then the one guy takes them downstairs, and they're going through the people are going through a portal, just like exiting to go to another planet. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
Yeah. But could you imagine, though, a life where, like, if you have a friend or you're like, hey, I've never seen, say, the Eiffel Tower. You just step on a pad, and next thing you know, like 30 seconds later, you're standing in front of the Eiffel Tower.
Wow.
And then you're like, well, let's go to the Great Wall. And you stand on a pad and you appear in front of the Great Wall, and you just, how much you could see, how fast.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Yeah. Seeing the triangles, and when I see the triangles, I didn't see them go. I didn't see them do the magnetic field bubble and disappear. The ones I seen did not do that. I seen them pull up, and then I was in such a state of shock. I don't even remember them leaving. I just remember them pulling up and seeing them pull up. And and those weren't the only time I seen stuff in the sky. But that the triangles were the most profound. Absolutely. As a matter of fact, it was the most profound experience I've ever had in my entire life. I doubt I'll ever see them again. Um,
I
or
wouldn't say that if I were you.
Well, it's like one in a million that I, or whatever the odds are that I see it. I mean, I feel like I, I feel so excited and I feel humbled that I was able to see them. The only thing I wish is I wish more people would have been there to see them with me. But backing up a little bit, I have seen a cigar shaped light ship. That's what I believe it was, and it came out of the clouds. I was out in my cousin's front yard in Mableville, Arkansas, and it was in the middle of the day. Sun was shining. No, there was no clouds out at all. It was really strange. And then all of a sudden, all these planes started flying over, spraying, and then all these clouds started rolling out. And the next thing you know, the whole sky was covered with clouds in every direction. And then I heard all this noise, this like rumbling up there in the clouds. And then it was almost like something really big was passing over because it felt like the ground was rumbling beneath me. And then this cigar-shaped light ship, which I believe that's what it was. It was a ways away. It wasn't close up like the triangles, but it came out of the sky. It came out of the sky, and then all of a sudden, it immediately changed trajectory. It just flipped like this, and it went right back up into the clouds. And it was so bright yellow. It was bright like a laser. That's how bright it was. So that was really neat seeing that. And then I went to a MUFON meeting later in Arkansas, and they passed out a flyer, and it had a light ship on it, and it looked exactly like the light ship that I had seen. Yeah, the cigar-shaped light ship. But anyhow, that was another time that I seen something like that in the sky. And then there was another time I was outside the Greyhound station in Nashville, and it was nighttime. And then all of a sudden, this domino comes floating floating through the air. It had a light in each corner, like the number 4 domino. It just comes floating by. It's just cruising by, just cruising. And I reached into my purse, was trying to grab my phone so I could take a picture of it. And don't you know, my phone was all the way in the bottom of my purse. So by the time I got it dug out, it was gone, and I wasn't able to take a picture of it. But anyways.
Well, but you did take a picture of it just with your mind.
Yeah, with my mind, for sure. Yeah. But like I said, nothing was as profound as the triangles. And there was 3 of them, completely soundless. And they were huge. They were so intimidating. I mean, they were almost scary to they were really intimidating. But it was not a bad experience. Nothing bad happened to me. All I did is they pulled up, and I got to see them. And it was not a bad experience at all. As a matter of fact, I feel like I hit the lottery because I was able to be able to see them, and it's just so amazing. And for a long time, I wondered. I'm like, why me? Of all people, why me? Why did I get to see them? There's people that are a lot smarter than I am and a lot more technical than I am. Why not them? Why me? So, but it was wonderful, and it changed my life. It opened my eyes to the fact that we are being lied to about everything. All the physics that we are being taught in colleges, universities, they're not teaching us the true nature of physics. And we're completely being hoodwinked about the true nature of physics and reality. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And to answer your question, why you and not the scientists? Because the scientist would sit there and go, well, under scientific reasoning, this is what you're looking at, and they would totally miss it to where you have unfiltered, pure vision of it, and so your mind doesn't filter it out and make it something that it's not, and so you had the true experience. So I think that's why they chose you instead of, like you're saying, the scientists who study these things, because they're going to look at it and go, oh yeah, that's, this, and this, and miss the beauty of the experience, and probably even misidentify what they're seeing.
Wow. It's just wow.
Oh, it is. But don't ever discount yourself, for having an experience, because as an experiencer, yeah, that opens you up to new things and new ideas, and that's the beauty of it. Don't ever sit there and discount yourself and go, I don't know why they would pick me. I'm not this, I'm not that. Because that's exactly why they picked you, because you're not that. You're you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Michael. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm a firm believer of the UFOs that we've seen around. There are people that say you need to shine a light in the sky for them to find you. And I'm like, my opinion is they can travel through time and space. I think they can find you without the laser pointer, but that aside, I feel like they can sense and see people who are of certain energy and certain frequency and go, these are the people who will understand what we're here to do, who we are, and almost on the verge of, I could even say, star family. And so they're just letting you know they're here. And so they stop by and they're like, It's like, the family vacation going, hey, cuz, just letting you know we're here, and then leave, or just stopping by to say hi. But you get someone who's like a scientist or something, they're like, oh my God, we're being invaded. There's three, craft in the sky. They're going to sell a different story. And so that's why they don't get to see it, is because they don't want that story. Where you're sitting here telling the story of, it was a nice, peaceful, serene experience. There's no fear in it. And they're like, that's what we want people to know. That when they come, they're not coming to create fear. They're coming out of a peaceful, loving, calm energy. And they want the masses in that frame to make themselves totally visible to everyone. Until that comes, I think they'll only show themselves to that frequency and energy level.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say exactly what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about yours. Go ahead.
I was saying that's why you got chosen, because you are that frequency. You are that energy.
Now, you've seen some craft yourself, right?
I have, and I've seen craft that it just hovered in silence at a distance for like 5-10 minutes, and I know of no craft that we have that can do that other than a helicopter, but this didn't have any rotary blades, and so I was like, yeah, this is definitely a UFO. And I have seen what my mind can only describe as a UFO. Sorry, I got distracted because my screen like totally flashed out, and I was like, "What was that?" But so I describe it as a UFO battle because you know how when you see an impact on like a shield or an energy and it creates this little light burst? Well, behind this one singular cloud in the sky, there was no other clouds around. There would be like a red and a yellow flash constantly. Different sides are mixed in. And I was like, they looked like impact flashes, not heat lightning, because they weren't a ball. And I was like, I don't think I'm seeing what I think I'm seeing. So I went inside and got my mom to come outside and look. And we saw all these flashes. And like you're saying, when it was all said and done, I walked inside and was like, why didn't I take my phone out of my pocket and film this? So, no film for it. Sorry, folks. Can't describe it for you that way. But, yeah, and a lot of times I'll be driving along and I'll just get a feeling to look up. And I'll look up and there will be an object that's like following me. And it's always in the same spot through the windshield. And I like to tell people, yes, I do keep my windshield clean so it's not a dirt speck and going, hey, look, there's a UFO and it's a dirt speck. No, they're on different spots nightly if I see them. And I just love the fact that, like, I feel guided to look up when they're around. Is I get a feeling, and I'm like, and I'll start looking around and going, I see you. I know you're around. What looks like it shouldn't be that's here? And I'm like, that's where I find them.
Wow. Wow.
Did you get any senses when you looked up? Like, did you get a feeling like, hey, look up, or like a voice or something?
I can't say I did. No. When the triangles pulled up, they were just so huge, and they were enormous. And then the other time when I saw the light ship, the cigar-shaped yellow light ship, or what appeared to be that, um, um, like I said, there was a lot of, it was like there was commotion. I thought it seemed like to me like there was some fighting or something going on up there, because out of nowhere, all these planes came and started spraying to seed clouds. And I mean, these clouds seeded in a matter of minutes. It was like a carpet just rolled out of cloud, and the whole sky was covered in cloud. And the next thing that I heard, all this noise up there in the sky. So the noise and all that is what prompted me to look. And then it was almost like that ship was probably up there battling or something, and accidentally came out of bounds, came down below the cloud and then just flipped up and went right back in. So no, the answer to your question is no, I can't say that I did feel compelled to look. It was with the triangles, it was just, you couldn't miss them. They were so huge, and they were so low. And the other instance was noise, and then the domino just came outside the Greyhound station. I was traveling, took the bus to see a friend in Tennessee, and I just came outside, and the first thing I did is look up at the beautiful sky. It's nighttime, look at the sky, and just happened to catch it.
So I'm kind of curious, when you talk about the light ship, the cigar-shaped one, I'm wondering, because of the seeding of the clouds, I wonder if, instead of, I'm not discounting the battle, it could have been a battle, but I also wonder, though, could the cigar-shaped ship been like the control ship that was there and then called in the other ships to seed and create the clouds to create, a possible storm? Because we do know we have the technology to seed the clouds and generate storms, but nobody knows what it looks like and how it's done. And I'm wondering if you've seen that, to where you had the control ship up there and saying, okay, this area, this grid needs rain, and the ship starts seeding. Sorry, I didn't mean to hit my microphone there.
Oh, it's okay. I don't know. It was, I don't know. Like I said, it just seemed like, I don't know, but it just seemed like, it was just weird, because I walked out into the my cousin's house has like almost a field, a big side yard. It's really big. And so I just walked outside, and I'm walking along the grass, soaking up the sunshine, blue skies, not a cloud in the sky. And then I noticed that out of nowhere, these planes, a bunch of them show up. I don't remember how many, and they're just spraying like crazy, like tic-tac-toe up there. And I thought, what the heck? And then it happened so quick. It was the fastest I had ever seen clouds roll out. I mean, it happened in minutes. I mean, I just watched it just unfold right in front of me. They came and sprayed, and the clouds unfolded instantly. The cloud cover just instantly rolled out. And then, like I said, there was a lot of noise. And then immediately after that, there was all this noise up above coming from the sky. And then it felt like there was something. It felt like there was something giant moving up there, like traveling above the clouds, because the ground started rumbling below me. So I thought, what the heck is going on? And then there was just a lot of noise. And then I seen the ship come down, and then it immediately went right back in, like it wasn't supposed to come out. It just Because why would it do that? It's going to come out of the cloud and then just go right back up in. So it just seemed like there was something going on up there. What? I'm not sure, but it definitely seemed like there was something going on up there.
Yeah, and the ground rumbling, that is hard to explain away because, I've never been around where they were creating weather, so I don't know what happens to the whole environment while they're doing that. So that's why I suggest it's a possibility, but I'm not discounting your experience either because, one, not being there, I can't, in all fairness, say, yeah, you misunderstood what you saw, because not being there, yeah, I only have the experience to go by, and the best source for that is the person who saw it. So I have no reason to doubt you. So I don't want you to think I am. I'm just...
Oh, I don't think that at all. No, not at all. No, you're just thinking of scenarios, possibilities. Absolutely. I hear exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
So what other hidden technologies have you come across with your research into all of this?
Well, it's just mainly been the anti-gravity and the Einstein-Rosen bridge, the wormhole. There's some other technology called something propulsion. I was watching Dr. Stephen Greer talk about it. I can't remember the first word, and it's something propulsion, where I guess these craft are able to kind of dematerialize enough to where they're able to fly through things or something like that. Do you know the name of the technology? It's called something propulsion.
I'm looking it up right now. And let's see, he calls it... there's teleportation tech, but I don't think that's what we're talking about. And gravity control propulsion research.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
And so, yeah, and what I find interesting is we call anything that's unidentifiable. It's going to be one of those nights now. Gotta love lives. So UFOs, unidentified flying objects. So you see something in the sky you can't identify. You're like, okay, there's a UFO. And we naturally go, okay, this has to come from space because it's not anything we have. And we don't realize that Area 51, Area 51A, I think it is, or there's 3 or 4 now bases that are heavily guarded and nobody can film there, where planes are manufactured. And I can't help wondering, because we do have the TR-3Bs, we know we have them, and the way they maneuver is different from the way the ET versions maneuver, because we haven't figured out how to take the G-force in a sharp 90 turn, so to speak, or go up and down on a dime, because our bodies aren't designed for that, and there's no suits that I know of right now in existence to where you put it on and you can pilot the ship just like an ET. So I think we're still somewhat limited on that, and so that's how you can kind of tell the difference is how they're maneuvering. But I can't help wonder if, because we reverse engineered the craft to such detail, that would it be silent because we would have reverse engineered the same engine, the same designs. So I'm wondering if that truly is the only way to distinguish ours versus theirs, is the maneuverability.
Yeah. 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 Probably. I'm sure. Yeah.
And but I also wonder though, because it came in threes. I'm like, in three, you don't hear of many UFOs like operating that way. I mean, yeah, there was the Phoenix Lights that was like 5 or 6 individual lights, or you'll see one that separates. But to me, it's rather unique that yours were already separated. So if they are, it's like I wonder what ship brought them, because you normally don't hear of just the small ones floating around. They always break off of something else, as we describe it.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It is amazing that there was three of them. Absolutely amazing. I mean, wow. They and when they pulled up, like I said, they were completely silent, and they stopped completely, spaced perfectly apart from each other, spaced perfectly apart from each other, and they just over a gas station of all places. I was at a Casey's gas station parking lot. I was right in Fort Smith, and that's right on the border of Oklahoma. But and just I have her right there, over a gas station parking lot of all places.
Well,
Yeah,
you said you were in Arkansas when this happened, correct?
yeah, Fort Smith, Arkansas, and it's on the border of Oklahoma. Yeah, it's right. Fort Smith is the city that you leave when you enter into Oklahoma.
Right. Yeah, I'm familiar with it, and I'm wondering, just in theory mind, the fact that those three craft were there and they were hovering is because Arkansas is one of the rare states where they have giant crystals under the surface in caves and caverns. And crystals can be energy sources. And so I wonder if the craft were there to get information and recharge off of the crystals in the ground. And it's interesting to me that there's a gas station in that same spot. And I would wonder too if there's like ley lines crossing there, which creates even more planetary energy. And so it's like that's a UFO like truck stop, so to speak, where you stop by, tank
Yeah.
up, update your system maps, and go.
Could very well be. Yes, very well be. Yeah.
And there's rumor too that the Fountain of Youth that was everyone says it was in Florida is actually, according to the indigenous people, in Arkansas because of the
Oh,
crystals.
wow.
They were saying the crystals with the water is what was keeping them young. But they also had the belief of that, and so it begs the question, can the Fountain of Youth be anywhere if it's just powered by mental thought?
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
But I have a curveball for you if you're interested.
Sure.
Since you like to do research and into all of this, the moon, there is history with some indigenous tribes of a time on Earth when there was no moon. They actually write they lived with no moon and then the moon arrived later.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that. I have, and I've also, I was watching a documentary on YouTube, and somebody was saying that the moon was built at the shipyards of some planet called Pistola or something like that, and then it was towed over to Earth. Yeah.
Yeah, and here's an interesting thought. If the moon is actually like, not to quote, Star Wars too much, but a space station, not a small moon, it would, to me, it might explain why we're having so much UFO activity, because they're all coming from the moon, flying down back and forth now more often. So more UFO sightings. And it might explain too is why we don't see the dark side of the moon, because that's the launching base. You don't ever put the launching bay directly facing what you don't want someone to know you're there. You would put it on the other side so your craft appears out of nowhere and lets people thinking, where did they jump in? Did they jump in? Have they been here? Where did they come from?
Wow. I have a question about the moon. We can see the moon day and night, right?
Yeah, that's a new thing to me.
Because that's what I've noticed over the years is that we see the moon day and night. So I'm like, well, if we see it day and night, isn't it supposed to be rotating around the Earth? And then I was like, that doesn't make sense because if we're seeing it, how come the people in Australia wouldn't be able to see it? But from what I understand, they're able to see the moon the same time we are. Now, I I don't want to like get into theories and stuff like that, but it's definitely a mind bender because the moon would be, we're seeing it day and night. It would be out of the line of sight of Australia because that's on the other side of the world. So it just doesn't make sense. So I thought to myself, do we have two moons? Is there one over here and one on this side and one on the other side, or and then we got the whole flat Earth theory thing, and I'm not going to go into all that, but it's just definitely strange. I thought it was strange that we could see the moon day and night, and I thought, well, how can we see the moon day and night, and in Australia they're seeing the moon the same time we're seeing it? I don't know. Maybe I'm missing something here.
No, it is a good point, and I have seen photos where somebody was taking a picture of the sunset, and there were 3 suns in the photo. And I know one possibly could be a lens flare, but still that leaves 2 suns. And so I have a feeling what it is if the moon is a station, like a space station like we think it is, we don't know where it actually is in orbit around us. And we could be looking at a hologram of the moon while Australia's got the actual moon, or it could be we have the actual moon and Australia's looking at a hologram of the moon, because if it's a station, that means it can project an image of itself anywhere. And the part I have that's mind bending to me is I remember growing up and learning in school science that says moon is nighttime, sun rules the day. They don't mix. And so when I started noticing both at the same time, I was starting to get headaches trying to figure out what is going on with our world that day and night are happening at the same time now?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so many people are like, oh, the moon has always been up during the day. And others are like, nope. And so to me, I'm kind of classifying it as a Mandela effect because some people are like, yeah, the moon is always up at night, never during the day. And others are like, oh, no, it's up 24/7. And so we all can't be wrong and we all can't be right. So it makes me wonder, as timelines are merging, how is time being affected? And which moon, could there, like you're saying, could there even be more than one moon? In which case, we all think we're looking at the same moon, but we're looking at moon A and they're looking at moon B. And we just don't know it.
Right. Because they're not telling us the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it
Yeah.
might explain, too, why our tides are starting to act so strange is because the moon, if it does truly affect the tides, if there's two of them, that would be like a major effect on the tides. And yeah, tides are starting to act strange.
Yeah. Yeah. I did some research on it, and I came across a research paper. I wish I still had it, but I don't. But these scientists in Turkey were saying there was more than one moon.
And here's the interesting thing, too, is the quarter moon or the crescent. Remember, as our youth, the crescent would always be on one side or the other side. Now it's on the bottom.
Wow.
And it's like, wait, when did the moon start to rotate? Because it's never rotated like that in the past. It was always you'd have a quarter, then you would have the full, and then it would go back to the quarter, and then it would be totally blacked out. Those were the four phases. Now we have quarter, phased out, or full. It's like we lost a phase because I've never seen the crescent on the top.
Yeah. Yeah. It's that's very, very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And I just realized we're a couple minutes over the hour. I don't know if you need to go or if you want to talk for a little bit more. I'm going to be respectful of your time.
No, that's fine. Yeah, we're over the hour, so and I've shared pretty much everything I needed to share. Yeah, that the technology is real, and keep your eyes on the skies.
Yeah, well, thank you for coming on and sharing your stories with us and your experiences.
Yes, and thank you so much, Michael, and thank you for all you do for disclosure. You are amazing.
Thank you. You are too. And thank you to everyone in the chat room. And do know, Cindy, if you ever want to come back on, you are welcome on anytime.
Thank you. Thank you kindly.
All right. Well, then we will say good night. And before I start the outro, is there a website or somewhere that you want to send people to find you if they have questions?
Sure. I'm on Facebook under Cindy Estus, CindyEstus. And if anybody wants to contact me by email, my email is estescj45@gmail.com.
Okay. You want to give that one more time So, because people may be trying to write it down.
Sure. It's my email is estescj45@gmail.com. And like I said, I'm on Facebook under Cindy Estus, CindyEstus.
Okay, and I'm hoping I spelled that right.
I don't have my glasses on.
If not, you've said it twice, so they can pause and write it down. But thank you so much for coming on, and I will play the outro and say goodnight. And everyone, please like and share this episode to help with the algorithms, and keep an eye out because you never know when she might be back on.
Thank you so much, Michael, and everyone have a good night.
Thank you. Yes, and good night, everyone.